What's up, guys? I'm John Borba. I'm here with Brandon Hunt.
Hey.
And we are here to talk about this week's episode of Walking Dead, The Big Scary, the letter U, The Big Scary U. I don't know what that is. We watched the episode. Underwear? I don't know.
University?
Anyway, I really like this episode.
Me too.
For me, I thought that it was finally getting a bunch of answers for characters that we were wanting to see where they fell, and the biggest thing that I kind of took away from this episode was just how these leaders are not really leading and are having a lot of conflict.
It's very much a behind-the-scenes look at the gears shifting within the dynamics of both groups, as evidenced by everyone in Negan's camp, the Saviors, wondering what the heck's going on, where's Negan, we gonna fight, and then also evidenced by Rick and Daryl having a fight. Now, they obviously just needed to like punch it out before they're like, fine, we're brothers, but there's still that.
They didn't help each other at the end. They split up.
True, but they were still like, I don't hate you.
Yeah.
They didn't kill each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best example of that was seeing the room full of not Negan in the little business meeting, which was interesting because you get to see, like, does Eugene know that Dwight is Rick's mole? And then you get that further with, Simon kind of wanting to take over, and all of these people kind of arguing about who is going to take what role.
Right.
And then it's pretty heavily insinuated that those pistols that the workers got came from Eugene.
Right.
And I think that I'm left then I now know that Eugene is also working to Rick's benefit without anyone knowing.
Right.
He's kind of a lone wolf, but you also wonder, does he know about Dwight? Does Dwight know about him? Are they working in unison? I
suspect, at the end of this episode, that they probably know that both of them, I think they can tell with each other, if they don't already know, that, they're trying to both get out of there. But it's interesting to see the dynamics between that not Negan group, is what we're calling it. But you can totally tell that Simon has his own plans, and they sort of cross Negan's boundaries a lot.
Yeah.
Simon seemingly just wants to kill everybody and just rule the whole Savior compound by fear alone. And Negan does that, but he strangely has weird sympathies towards people, and he wants to keep people alive. He doesn't want to just murder everyone that comes to the Savior compound.
They kind of paint him as almost a bit of a good guy in this.
Right.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second because I really want to get to it. But the weirdest thing to me is that it seems like Negan, in all their other representations of him and his crew, he wholeheartedly trusts these people that work for him. And then you get this sort of inside look, and you see him, Simon decides to take the lead and get Gregory and thinks that he has the whole problem solved, and Negan immediately just checks him and puts him back into his place. Probably the biggest moment to me in this whole episode, as a big comics fan. If you are a fan of the Walking Dead comics, you might have recognized one of the scenes being extremely out of place in the timeline of Walking Dead, which is Negan has this moment with Father Gabriel in the trailer, where Father Gabriel tries to take his confession and Negan resists for a while, and then finally, Negan spills his guts about, the thing that he regrets most in his life, and we don't get that in the comics until significantly later.
Way later.
And then more filling of that out, even in a comic that takes place outside of the mainline Walking Dead series. And so I was really surprised by that. I wonder what that means for the future of Negan, and if they're going to try to either take the whole story of Negan in a completely different direction, or if it's going to be something like Heath Ledger's Joker, where you get multiple different origin stories behind why this guy is the way that he is.
Right. I think that this is sort of our first glimpse into his insecurities and weaknesses that he has about himself. And I personally think this is the start of building that character into what we see later in the comics. after some of the battles that we think are going to take place. Now, I think you had a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, so in my opinion, there are a couple different ways that they could do this. I think that obviously there's some Negan fatigue going on in the show. We've seen the ratings drop. I think that either Gimple and Kirkman are jumping forward in time to allow the audience to feel like Negan is more of a human being and relate to him, instead of just seeing him as this, you know, extremely violent monster all the time. The other direction that they could be taking him, which is somewhere that I think is very interesting, I don't want to spoil anything for people in the future, but I think that they could be working towards the death of Negan, which is something that they don't do in the comics. And I don't know how they remedy that. I think it provides for a very interesting and new take on The Walking Dead. And I think it also answers for fans that are just fans of the TV show that want him to die.
Right.
I'm gonna delve a little bit more into this. We make weekly theory videos on Walking Dead. One will be up this coming week. So if you're very interested in the idea of Negan dying, you know, keep an eye out for it.
Sure.
That said, I want to thank you for having my back today.
Of course.
I brought you a present.
Oh.
It is a pickle present.
Wow, these are quality cukes, my friend.
You know, that was also one of my favorite moments from the episode, is Eugene's real quality moments, like the providing him with his best pickles. Those are hot pickles, watch out. Brings the levity that kind of evened out the moments. Whoa, that smells really spicy. That you need in an episode where Negan becomes a human being.
Right.
So that was really great. We just want to point out that was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing that. I've kind of been waiting for that moment because for at least the whole season, we've just seen menacing, mean, disgusting, filthy Negan, and now we sort of have
tenderness.
You know, tenderness, insecurity, like failures. Like there's so much. We got so much in that one little 30-second scene.
Yeah, you get to learn that character has grown instead of being this thing, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I think it really served the show well.
Yeah, definitely.
So we were big fans. It's nice to see that Walking Dead is really picking up its stride. I felt like it started to really be on the upswing last episode, and this was a big step in that direction.
Yeah.
We'll be here with you every week to talk about Walking Dead. So for all things Walking Dead, stick with IGN.
For Shiva.